A novel, The Mystical Adventures of Dickie Bunz, Chauncey Moore. Copyright at 2016, 5th edition at 2020. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced in any form except for the inclusion of brief quotations in review without permission in writing from the author/publisher. 000G3LZ725A. About the author. Chauncey Moore was born on the 1st of March in 1980 during a full moon. He learned to read and write before it was time to enter school and excelled in writing and storytelling once there. It steered him into acting in plays, and gradually he became a multi-talented creator of art. After many adventures, he went into recluse to jot down mystical thoughts, theories, and stories. Here is one of them. This book is dedicated to the memory of Ashley Long. In the first edition of this book, I did not see you in any astral projections since passing, but finally you showed up and gave me your blessing. I am presenting an installment of a project you inspired me to develop from our interaction. My consistency will be a dedication to your belief in me. My condolences and respect go out to your family and friends who have also lost an angel. Prologue. It's 2015 Earth time, and the news reports that the divided stakes of hysteria's economy is sluggishly gaining traction after the 2008 bubble burst. Contrary to the reports, an undercurrent of Marxian unemployment is seeping through the cracks of Empire City. Benjamin Byron, a brilliant business agent, is unwittingly assigned to investigate the depths of the Empire's concentration camps, which are filled with two groups of people, the company and the others. As bureaucrats, drug addicts, and undocumented immigrants become burdensome to the hysterians, a mixture of citizens are coerced into labor camps to work for the company. The mystical ability of the others to astral project when lucid dreaming allows them to extract information from the other world and spy on secret enemies, lovers, and timeless events in different dimensions. Decisions based on the information makes the other world begin to coexist with the waking state. Consequently, metaphysical phenomena occurs. Chapter 1. A Broken Promise. Benjamin and Cantor's scooters raced up West Avenue side by side to flee from their attackers across the street. The canned sodas and hamburgers thrown at them missed by inches as the speed they traveled at increased. Right before reaching Ice Avenue, Cantor's scooter began running out of gas, so he pushed it with his feet. Benjamin turned around due to the change of velocity behind him and saw his friend falling behind. A canned soda landed under the front wheel of Cantor's scooter, stopping it instantly. Benjamin leapt off his scooter and grabbed the can, which sprayed soda from a punctured hole. He threw it back at their pursuers to buy Cantor some time to adjust his scooter. The mandatory stop also gave him a reason to try and acknowledge who the culprits were. His right eye zoomed 150 yards across the street to the top of a grassy knoll and identified the assailants. The truth was appalling, but escaping the attack was more important than how he felt about the two men betraying him. Benjamin hailed two burgers wrapped in fast food wrapping that landed near his foot back at the men, then grabbed Cantor's handlebars to help him gain forward momentum again. Together they rushed to the top of the hill so they could use their body weight at their advantage once at the decline. But before they could gain ample speed, a force blew past Benjamin's arm, breaking his grip from Cantor's handlebars. With each whiz around him, the word "slack" was whispered into his ear, and it grew with anger. Benjamin refrained from losing his cool to concentrate on getting him and Cantor safe, but in the process telepathically picked up the thoughts coming from the whirlwind of energy. It was confident in believing Benjamin could not see him, nor do anything to banish him from the astral projection. Slack, 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 slack. After successfully timing his assaulter's laps, Benjamin extended his hands into the whirlwind and snatched a burly man by the shoulders, stopping him in his tracks. He squeezed inwards until his bones started to crackle. Cantor then screamed out to Benjamin, "No!" But Benjamin was past the point of return. The antagonizing giant began to scream while still trying to escape Benjamin's grasp. but to no avail. "Heinrich!" Benjamin recognized the attacker when he lifted his head in anguish. Heinrich's pride, however, would not allow him to look Benjamin in the eyes. "You fucking slack!" The bones of Heinrich's body collapsed from its original structure. Then Benjamin turned him upside down effortlessly onto his head, snapping his neck as well. He swiftly raised his foot and stomped Heinrich's flesh into the ground, chipping up the concrete beneath them as he proceeded. Only Heinrich's head was left intact, so with his foot raised as high as possible, Benjamin stomped it, shattering it into pieces. Another can of soda lay resting against Cantor's front wheel, so Benjamin grabbed it, cracked it open, then poured it all over Heinrich's head and splattered flesh. The acid made Heinrich's skin boil until it disintegrated into fog. Benjamin then slid his feet back and forth over the evidence, ensuring the acid left no physical trace of what occurred. He looked at Cantor and signaled for him to mount his scooter to finish the mission and get back to the waking state without him. Cantor did not want to leave Benjamin, but knew it was necessary after looking at his friend's face expression. "This doesn't necessarily mean death," said Benjamin as loud sirens began to sound nearby. Cantor switched scooters and darted off without another second of hesitation, and Benjamin ran toward the side block with the grassy knoll, but the men were gone. He kept running on intuition until he reached Ice Park, where Jeff, the construction contractor, sat highly intoxicated. He was also a childhood friend, but they grew apart due to their professions and would only meet momentarily for business when they did speak. Jeff was blabbering his words incoherently as the weather changed from a hot summer day to cold. A blizzard now swept the park, making Jeff wrap his arms around himself to try and endure the sudden climate change.
"Benjamin, your ego is surrounded. Please embrace your fate and await your trial as a captive on the moon for your recent moonwalk."
The age's voice was robotic, but soft, nearby, but aloof. There was no need for police on the moon. A suspected criminal stay only became unwarranted when the captive didn't accept being ejected from the waking state. "What need is there for a trial? If you saw what happened, you'd know that the treaty was broken," Benjamin remarked defiantly.
"Say theoretically, we didn't see what happened. The odds of proving your claim stands unfavorably probable due to the lack of evidence,"
the voice reported back. Jeff had also disappeared with the rest of the players, as if they were mere holograms derived from multidimensional consequences. "You know Heinrich is probably swimming in a pot of coffee right now in the waking state, continuing his Fosse-devised plans, which automatically denounces them from the 12th House allegiance."
"Heinrich has been officially wiped from the 3D grid for 2 years now. Therefore, you are incorrect in your assumption."
Benjamin was well versed on how egos were being arrested on the moon ever since the age began in 2012. Furthermore, our Germans on the moon could occur in the blink of an eye, or decades, before a deceased operative to still be active was only folklore. This was a ghost story that the fishmen would quickly dismiss as heresy. But it was indeed Heinrich in Benjamin's clutches, and he knew him well enough to distinguish his spirit from an empty projection. What happened was a testament to what some refer to as the afterlife, but its actualization suggested there was no death to begin with. Benjamin wasn't concerned with his theory being confirmed, but with it being veiled. The age now had more leverage to arrest egos from the third dimension because the enemies in their psyches still jumped dimensions freely with the power to antagonize them. Furthermore, those who knew about this may order hits on people in a waking state, and an influx of kamikazes, lone wolves, and suicide bombers were likely to surface. A quiet and nearly noticeable engine riveted behind Benjamin, then circled in front of him. The rider stopped and waited for him to saddle the bike, which he did after lifting the helmet from the back seat onto his head. "Do you ever tire of saving me?" Benjamin asked.
"Oh, now you call it that. Whatever. I wish you didn't see it as that, though."
"You're a mercenary."
"Oh, now we're back to that again. That fucking quick. What else would I be doing if I didn't have you?"
Baby girl grew aroused as Benjamin mounted the bike behind her and pulled her into his groin area.
"Oh yeah, Daddy, put that dick right between my butt cheeks.
The beige woman took off through the other world as the ubiquitous age kept eye on them. Chapter 2. The Conscious Community.
Did you know there is a leak in the bathroom near the toilet? I laid a towel down to soak up the water and called plumbing. They should be up here to fix it soon.
Dick was startled from being brought out of his daydreaming state of mind. Nah, I didn't, but thanks, Ma. When the room door closed, he leapt up, walked into the bathroom, and looked at the floor grimly. Fuck she telling me for? He rubbed the hair on his head, then looked into the mirror. His reflection struck him as odd and disoriented. His drowsiness pushed him to the coffee pot on the hotel desk, only to become upset at no coffee being available. The hallway was empty, but the sound of rummaging in the room over led him to believe housekeeping might be there. The door was open, so he leaned into the room's corridor and saw the same housekeeping woman that had just left his room. Damn, he said in his mind. Desire rushed through him from seeing the bottom half of the woman's figure shimmy from side to side in unison with the sound of the scrub brush cleaning the bathtub. The corporate khakis revealed her curves as more abundant than when she had stood previously. Once aware that he was still undetected due to the scrub brush drowning out any steps behind her, he glanced at her toiletry cart to survey it for coffee. On top of it was a clipboard which had the name Angel inscribed on it. Angel. Hey, it's me again. Do you have any coffee packets? There's none in my room.
Oh sure. Wait, hold on.
Angel hopped up and went into the cupboard area of her cart and retrieved 2 handfuls of coffee packets.
Here you go.
She placed the coffee in both of Dick's hands, clasping hers around them while tipping over towards him. Thanks, he said, staring in her eyes while motioning backwards to his room. After consuming a hot cup of joe, he threw on his coat and headed for the wintry streets of Empress County. Before exiting the concentration camp, he made his way to the bottom of the hotel where they were being kept and overheard the staff speak how it was filled to capacity. Dick felt threatened when absorbing the energy of the souls around him, who were either about to conform to signs on the wall or on their way to terrorize the streets. The administrator gave him a small stack of government literature composed of addresses to labor camps after he asked why he was there. Once he arrived at one, he double-checked his copy of the government calendar to make sure he was in the right room, then grabbed a seat.
Some of you I noticed from my old class, so obviously you've been here before. Like you, Mr. Benjamin. You're here again. Why?
The sharp-dressed Mexican woman with the bob haircut jumped up and down with both hands extended playfully, but also infuriated with Dick's return. I couldn't tell you, Ma. I'm as confused as you are. He was embarrassed but saved face to not make a spectacle out either of them in public.
It's okay. I too found myself questioning my sanity when coming here day after day feeling like this is it, you know? That's also why I go to college every night when I leave here. My goal is to be a psychologist, but I need this stepping stone until I accomplish that goal. You understand?
Well, the mental health sector will see a 5% increase in sales over the next 5 years. I just read it in the IBIS report, so you're definitely on the right track. The room grew silent as the knowledgeable words eloquently spewed from Dick's mouth. They even made him uncomfortable.
You see what I'm saying? Why are you here?
The facilitator mocked while laughing. A folded piece of paper made a thud on Dick's boot sole after sliding from the other side of the classroom. He looked up towards the direction from where it came and saw a slack kid no older than 19 gesturing for him to pick up the paper. Dick was suspecting because he didn't know the kid, but out of curiosity picked it up and unfolded it to read. Other or the company? Dick had no idea what the young man meant and felt the room shrink from being unknowledgeable, so in an effort to look the part of his previous educated response, he relied on his intuition. Other. His lips motioned silently so the teenager could read them. The kid nodded his head up and down, smiling with tight lips and what Dick saw as approval. The orientation came to an end, so Dick entered the elevator. He was alone, but right before it closed, a small hand with painted nails pulled the doors back. The orientation facilitator smiled up at him while pressing the already pressed lobby button.
What's your story? You're obviously educated and overqualified for any of these jobs they insist you apply for, so why are you really here?
Her words were spoken with a connotation that differed from when in the classroom. Dick searched his mind for the answer. I don't know.